everyone, so today I'm coming to you in a really informal manner because it's only appropriate that I talk to you guys in a more realistic sense. This is me waking up in the morning, and on days like this, I guess you could consider it quite a bad day, and we all have those kind of days. I really struggled to film this video because I wanted to get out a really meaningful message and an inspiring one. I guess with most things, the harder you try, I guess it doesn't really work out that way. It more often than not leads to you trying too hard, and it doesn't reveal a very authentic nature of, or a very honest nature of what you want to portray. Because at the end of the day, if you have your truth and you feel like you're convicted to speak about it, you will naturally just say it. You won't need to craft out a speech or anything like that. So today, in the last part of my skin story, a collaboration with PAULA'S Choice, I'll just be sharing with you my journey in mainly 3 parts. One, my high school days, my uni days, and now where I'm at. I wanted to talk more about things I've gone through in these stages and how I have kind of overcome them. I'll show you pictures along the way of how my skin was and how it got better. I guess you could say this stage it's at, I guess to some people will be that it's really good, or to some people would be, oh, there's still a lot of work to be done, but each to its own. For me, this is a really good standard for my skin. Sorry if you guys can hear the rain, it's pouring so heavily. But yeah, let's just start with where I came from in terms of my skin insecurities. I grew up in a family where no one struggled with acne, so when I developed a more severe case of it, I got really insecure because I did not know how to deal with it, nor did anyone around me know how to deal with it. When I was in secondary school, I believe at about around Sec 2 to Sec 4, I kind of then dabbled with some things. I did not have a lot of spending power then, nor did I actually know what kind of ingredients benefited my skin, but I used something called nail madrol. I will insert a picture somewhere here if I can find it, but yeah, it was said to be something that was a spot treatment of sorts, and at that time this is how my skin looked like. I believe at those stages a lot of the acne is due to just cleanliness, general cleanliness, and a lot of the times because I was in a sport and I would, not bathe or wash my face after training, or even, I would just refuse to bathe. I think that came in tandem with a lot of other insecurities, like not being really proud of the body I was in, so I refused to kind of shower outdoors. I just didn't really want to shower outdoors for some reason, and I would deliberately put my cleanliness at stake. I just wouldn't wash my face, and sometimes by the time I got home after a really long day, I would even forget to wash my face at that stage. So I guess starting off, cleanliness was an issue. Then moving from there, I was just more caught up in other things, and more importantly, I'm so thankful for this, but at that stage no one really did care. There were some talks about, the standard of beauty, and just basically people saying things like, oh, I wish I was this pretty, I wish I was that pretty, but I would say the company I was with didn't care, and I'm really grateful for that. And I already placed all these self-inflicting thoughts on myself, so it's not a matter of whether the company peer pressured me to feel that way. So a lot of the times, these things that we pit ourselves against, the standard we pit ourselves against, comes from within, and it only enhances how we feel when other people reinforce that thought or if they go against it. Yeah, I don't want to go too much into that. So moving from there, I went to Polytechnic, and at that stage it was pretty much kind of like a pre-uni kind of a phase where you could dress however you wanted, you could put whatever makeup you wanted, and yeah, everything was fine. At that time I developed more acne because I still stuck to my weird old ways. I think at that time I was just doing like a cleansing and immediate spot treatment, and the cleanser I was using was super stripping. It's that kind of, I do believe a lot of people also went through that kind of stage where the ultra stripping cleansers were all the rage. For some reason, it's the squeaky clean feeling on your skin was all the rage, and it's really hard to identify whether or not a cleanser was good or not if it didn't reach that stage. No one was telling us, or no marketer was kind of advertising things that things that don't strip all your oils away. I felt like at that time it was really something that was really prevalent in media, or even, you know, just people talking about what they used. Generally it was always something that was ultra stripping. Obviously by word of mouth I jumped on that bandwagon, and yeah, I believe at that stage my skin was really inflamed and I had to go see a dermatologist. I visited one at Toa Payoh, which is in Singapore, and they prescribed me a regime. So at that age I was exposed to, you know, like quite a lengthy process. I don't believe it's as long as the Korean skincare, like 10 steps. It's about like 6 steps I think, and it's really potent. I mean, that was the first time I was exposed to acids, which is AHA and BHA, and I was exposed to really pure forms of it, the gel types, which I believe had almost like 10%, and the instructions to me as a young girl was to put like a dime size or put a 20-cent amount of the product and dilute it with a lot of water, and the instructions of a lot of water was also very vague. So when I first started the regime, I would cleanse, I would tone, I would use the AHA and BHA, and then yeah, I would use 2 acids at once, so that's kind of crazy. And yeah, there were spot treatments. I still have the products, but they're all prescribed and I don't use them anymore because that was the tipping point for my skin. It really took it to another level in terms of its severity. My skin was really inflamed by the time I got to uni, and as I am a lazy girl, you guys know the lazy girl series, I generally did not pace myself with it. I just thought that if I'm going to be diluting it and I'm eventually going to be using the concentrated version of it, why don't I just start with the concentrated version of it? So I basically used it straight, and this is what happened to my skin. And yeah, as you saw in the pictures, my whole skin was generally inflamed a lot of the times, and yeah, I had major cystic acne. I had acne where I never had acne. It was really terrible, and a lot of the times I had to stay indoors for my university life, and when I did go out, it would be packing a lot of sunscreen and packing a lot of makeup, and yeah, a lot of the times I'll be put off going out just because I had to do that routine. For those of you who don't really know, basically I picked up the love for makeup when I was in university, so it kind of came in hand with my skin insecurities, which I guess it could be a double-edged sword kind of a thing, where if you are unsure of your sense of beauty or really owning who you are as a person without makeup, and you kind of fall in love with makeup, it is quite detrimental, I would say. And I mean, you can love makeup and like not love your skin, but I think ultimately that's not really healthy. And for a good 2 years that was me. And now that I've come back to Singapore, I think the weather also plays a big part, because when I was in Australia during university, a lot of the times it was just dry heat, so I didn't mind having makeup on my skin and it didn't cake up, it didn't look weird. but back in Singapore it's super humid and you sweat a lot even if you don't sweat, and of late in the past few years it has gotten a lot hotter. So that being said, coming back to Singapore, I tried different ways of using less products in terms of makeup but still having that coverage. So yeah, I mean my skin did get better after a while, after I kind of stopped that dermatologist routine. But at this stage where I'm at, a lot of the problematic areas, I mean now my skin is after Paula's Choice, but before that I actually picked up a few COSRX products. I know some of you who followed me for a while noticed I've been using it and asked me for my thoughts. I think the COSRX line is amazing. It's great for detoxing your skin. I feel, however, that I mean for some people it might work differently, but for me, because a lot of my skin damage is quite prolonged, so the 1% AHA toners and BHA toners and emulsions don't counteract or kind of deliver as beneficial impacts to my skin, because I've been through the HA and BHA cycle and that was a very pure concentrated form of it in previous cycles. So the COSRX products, what it did for me was a detox. It gave me like about a 6 to 8 months detox where I just used purely that, and what happened was I just got used to having my skin just act up and kind of subside while being on a very simple routine. AHA and BHA at that time with COSRX was just a very I would say not impactful, but it just calmed my skin down when it needed to, and ultimately it reduced a lot of the major cystic acne, so that was great. But I still had a lot of dark spots, a lot of brown spots, and I'm not sure if you guys can see, but this is due to the sun damage in Australia. Seriously, it's really quite bad. I had no idea. A lot of the times I did not get on the SPF bandwagon until maybe 6 months into my uni life, so I didn't know what damage it was doing. By the way, your sunscreen and your foundation is not enough. It doesn't do anything basically. You still get sun damage. So COSRX didn't help in terms of lightening these scars, but I tried to experiment with different SPFs, and yeah, I've been using physical SPFs rather than chemical, and I find that to prevent further discoloration a lot better and protect my skin by deflecting the rays. And yeah, my skin currently with Paula's Choice, it's really great. I would say that there are a few more things that I want to experiment with the Paula's Choice line, but overall I'm really grateful for the journey that has led me to this point. I think that the products that I'm using now, even though it may seem extensive, like it's a whole suite of products, but like I mentioned in my second video, I usually use like 3 to 4 products, and yeah, I don't like to clutter my routine with so much, because growing up I do believe that my skin has been through a lot, and I put it through a lot because I exposed it to a lot of ingredients and a lot of chemically induced products. But overall, I do find that my skin recovery rate is really quite amazing. Ultimately, your skin is a barrier, and I find that it does recover on its own if you give it enough time and if you give it a good medium to recover. So like a moisturized skin, protected with SPF, and just make sure it's clean. That's about it really, and given like about a month or two, certain things that were inflamed will come down just naturally. So yeah, I've really learned to embrace that kind of natural recovery rate of my skin, and how to use makeup to manage it in the meantime is my philosophy. Just less is more, and also if I do want to experiment with really crazy looks, it's really just a one-off occasion. On an everyday, I much prefer having nothing on my skin. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this topic. I hope I didn't talk too long, but if you guys want to know at each stage what I used, I might not list them down below, but I will list the products that I mentioned, notably mentioned like the COSRX products. All the Paula's Choice products will be available for you guys in all 3 description box, part 1, part 2, part 3. And yeah, I hope you guys continue to watch all 3, and thank you so much Paula's Choice for taking up my proposal to partner with me, and thank you for helping me achieve great skin health. And yeah, moving forward, my skin story, this playlist is not gonna close. I'm gonna continually upload a lot of skin education type videos here. Definitely look for quality partners, just partners in terms of skincare brands that I would use personally and has helped my skin, and I will recommend you guys products as I go along. And if you guys have your skin story, I would love to hear it in the comment section below if it's not too hard for you to talk about. But yeah, I hope this empowers at least one person, and yeah, I just hope that this inspires you to take a step out of your comfort zone. And even if you don't feel like stepping out of your comfort zone, identifying why is a really good place to start. So yeah, without further rambling, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!